Okay.
It was very interesting, and it was full of
Was it?
adventure and action. It was very interesting. It was like a roller coaster. Mm. Sir,
It won't make a movie. Yeah.
yes, sir. Can you, sir, tell us about the 9 kind of different jobs you have done, and you did very good in all of them, yet you did not want to do them. Please tell us about the like those interesting experiences. Nine
Well.
jobs.
Now that, yeah. Now let me think about that one. That one, 9 jobs. Okay. I think I have to, what you call, try and remember them because I don't have the book with me in front of me. Let me see. All right. We will start with episode 1. My first job. No, my first job was join the Navy. But when I left Burma at the age of 14, I joined the DUFFERIN traineeship for the Merchant Marine. So my career was to be Merchant Marine. Yeah. So, but because I did not have 500 rupees to make my indentures, I could not join the Merchant Marine. Instead, the governor of Burma asked me if I should join the Navy. And I joined the Navy at his suggestion because I have no other choice. So, in the Navy, I spent 4 years with the British Navy and then 5 years with the Burmese Navy. So that was what I did not expect or intend to do. But I think I should start from the beginning. Even the Merchant Navy that I selected that to join the DUFFERIN, I did not have any idea I would like to do it. That was the first time. And that was when I was about 14, nearly 14. I was in the matriculation standard and I would have passed that year. So one day my brother came to me and said, Kyaw Thein, what are you going to do when you pass the matriculation? I said, well, I'll go to university. Oh, he said, you can't go to university. I said, why not? You're only 14. University minimum age is 16. You can't go to university. So I said, I don't know that. I said, but what am I going to do? I said, for 2 years. Oh, I'll give an idea. He said, you go 2 years, 3 years course on the DUFFERIN, and then if you like it, you can continue. Otherwise, you come back and join the university. So actually, going to the DUFFERIN was not my choice. It was the choice that's suggested by my elder brother because I would have to wait 2 years doing nothing to wait for the university. That would have been the first one. The second one was the joining the Navy itself because I could not go to Merchant Marine. I didn't have the 500 rupees. Okay. So I became the second job. And I wanted to be captain. I don't know about your father. I always wanted to be captain, you know? And I was only second officer, you know? And then I told you about this girlfriend I had when I had a car accident. You know? Her father actually was a justice, chief judge, quite high, quite senior. One day he told me, he says, KT, he called me KT for my initials. He said, you have intention of marrying my daughter? I was shocked. I had to say, yes, sir. I said, I intend to marry your daughter if she would help me. He looked at me and said, look, I don't want my daughter to marry you. I said, why not? He said, I don't want my daughter to marry a seaman who goes around halfway around the world while my daughter is waiting at home for you to come back. So I said, then what can I do? That's the only job I know going to sea to become a captain. No, he said, you got to find a job on the shore. Then you are home every day. Then I will let you marry my daughter. So I said, Uncle, I don't know any job that I can do. Obviously, there must be jobs that you can do. But he's a very, very influential guy. So he knew the commissioner of the port. So he called him up and said, look, I have a prospective son-in-law. He is looking for a show job. Is there a show job that he can do? So they said, well, they will look at my CV and so on, and then they would tell me. Later on, after they see my CV, and at that time, Rangoon Port had all British pilots. No, the first Burmese pilot was a river pilot. There's nobody in the harbor as Burmese, all English. Anyway, so they said, well, if this young fellow apply for the job of a pilot, we can consider. So he told me, well, if you want to marry my daughter, this is a show job that you can take. Or if you go to sea, you forget about marrying my daughter. So I was more or less pushed into applying to the port to become a pilot. And as it happened, I was selected and I wanted to be a harbor pilot. So I became the first harbor pilot in Burma, where my senior was first river pilot. So that was the job that I didn't expect to get. I wanted to be a captain, but due to circumstances, I became a harbor pilot. Okay? You're with me so far?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Following.
Yes. Right. So that is all right. All right. So let's go to the next job. I've been very happy for first as a harbor pilot. Then one day, as a harbor pilot, the harbor master was an Englishman. Then the master attendant, the chief of the port marine division, was also an Englishman. As though they were leaving, the chief of the port on the marine captain, he retired. So the harbor master became number one. And there was a job as harbor master, number two job. So my senior, the Burmese river pilot, he became the harbor master. So that was all right. I was still the harbor pilot. One day, this harbor master or the chief of the marine department head, he decided to quit quickly because he did something wrong. He's afraid that they might take action. So he just resigned and disappeared and went away to Australia. So the harbor master, who was Burmese, became number one man in the marine department. And his job as harbor master was vacant. So I was pushed into that job because I'm the next senior. So I became harbor master almost unexpectedly without any warning. So that's a job that was my number 4, the harbor master. Okay, so I was quite happy doing that job as harbor master, and it was a very busy job, but I liked doing it, and I was doing it for about 5 years. Then one day we started a shipping line, which was managed by Zim Israel Company. They're the Jews from Israel. And this company had bought an old ship, World War II ship, and re-engined it. And they were going to sell it to Burma 5 Star Line, our new company. And then where we needed, our company had no funds, so they were going to lend us the money to buy the ship as well. So this company had Italian captain, and they were getting the crew ready and having some problem with the crew because we had union didn't want to join this company because they were trying to restrict the number of people on board and so on. So one day I had a phone call from the Israeli general manager, and I said, "Good morning, Ike." So he said, "Oh, not a bloody good morning." I said, "Why?" "Oh, we need a chief officer. We can't find one." So I said, "Well, I don't mind going for a trip." I said, "If you pay me." "All right." He said, "Definitely." But I said, "I got to get permission from the port, go on leave, and then take the." So I actually joined the ship in France as chief officer, and I brought back together with the Italian captain. We went to Cape Town, we went to Durban, and back to Rangoon. About 2 or 3 months voyage. And then I, after I got back, I I went back to my half master job. Then they were having a lot of trouble with Burmese crew and Israeli management. They didn't understand the Burmese, how to handle the Burmese seamen, you know. So the Burmese generals at that time who were running the economy, they thought we should have a Burmese superintendent to handle that part and then gradually take over from the Israeli. So they asked me if I would like to join. At that time, I thought uh, I was not interested, but at the same time, I thought this this company, that this is a company, is a new company for Burma. If I can do that company, take care of it, then it's something good for the country. So I decided to join them. So from being farm master, I switched the job to Burma 5 Star as Marine Superintendent. And then the Israelis were sent home. I more or less took over overnight. And I was 9 years in the job and very happy. You know? So that was my next job. You know? Then came my surprise, last job in Burma. I was happy with Burma 5 Star. So one day, the minister sent for me. I didn't know what for, but I went to see him, thinking that he might be talking about buying ships. Or at the time, we were in the market for second-hand ships. So I went in, and he said, "Oh, we're going to promote you." I said, "Thank you." I said, what position?" "Oh, we want you to start a training school at the Magana Marine Training School." So I said, "There are a few others, captains, who are more qualified. They got extra master and so on. And so there are many of them more qualified than I am for this kind of job." "No, no," he said, "you are the one that the cabinet want. The cabinet think you're a good troubleshooter. You can get things done." So he said, "Would you do it?" So if I refuse, I couldn't refuse because it is like an order. At the same time, I thought to myself, this is a good chance for me to get out after I do the job. By then, I finished 27 years. So I wanted to do another 3 more years and I go on pension so I can do private job overseas. So I told him, "Yes, sir, I would do for 3 more years." He said, "Why 3 years?" I said, "I'm due for retirement in another 3 years." So he looked at me and he said, "Do you want to go overseas?" So I was being very frank with him. I said, "Yes, I'd like to go overseas so that I can get my children proper education." Because in Burma, the education system was very bad, even still bad. But that was at that time very, very bad. So he said, "All right, uh, you have to complete the school properly, then we let you go." So I got up and thanked him, and I gave my hand. He shook my hand, and I said, "Sir, this is our gentleman agreement." I said that in verbally, gentleman agreement. So he just nodded. Yeah. So when the time came, I reminded him, "Sir, do you remember our gentleman agreement?" He didn't want me to go, but he had to be a gentleman, so he let me go. So that's my last job in Burma. I think that was number 5. Then I went overseas. Now, the second part is my jobs overseas with different companies. Okay? So you want me
Yes.
to continue with that? Yeah.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
that is a very, very strange, very strange way that I found this job. I was in this Institute of Marine Technology. This is the one that got the logo here.
Yes.
One day, the phone call came to me. I picked up the phone, and the lady said, "Oh, good morning, Katie." He said, "I want to talk to Captain Barden." Captain Barden, by the way, was my assistant. He's a nautical lecturer. So I said, "He is lecturing. I can give him a message." Oh, he said, "Please tell him we need a captain urgently." At that time, nobody had gone out as a captain. No? So I said, "What do you pay a captain?" She said, "Oh, we pay $1,000." To me at that time, $1,000 a lot of money. So I jokingly I said, "Oh, I'm interested." No, I was joking. I told her I'm interested. Just to say something. Next morning, she phoned me early enough. She said, "Katie," he says, "compliment from Mr. Elon. He sent a message saying that if you come to join him, there are many jobs, not only going to sea, you can be marine superintendent and you can be port captain and you can be other things. So he asked me to tell you that." So then I all of a sudden asked, "Mr. Elon West from Zim, what is he doing in Singapore?" Oh, he said, "No, he's a ship owner now. He left Zim and he started his own company, chartering ships, and now he owns 9 ships. So he's a big ship owner, and he's taking Burmese crew and other crew." So I said, "Well, that's good." But I didn't want to ask her or work through her. So I said, I just thank him and I would reply. In those days, every communication that went out of Burma was censored. Whether telephone or telex or telegram or letter. And so had to be very careful. If I wrote something, then the MI would read it and I'll be in trouble. I would never be able to get my passport.
Yes.
So luckily at that time, my young brother was sailing to Singapore in a little coastal ship, and his bosun was somebody that was with me when I went for a trip with the chief officer on this World War II ship. So I asked this bosun to come and see me, and I said, "Here, take the letter. You know Mr. Elon from the Israeli. He is now in Singapore. Go to his address, give it to him. Nobody else. Just give it to his hand. And then I want the reply. You bring it back." He went there, and then when he went ashore at 9 in the morning, waiting for his boss to come, and the girls asked him, "No, what you got? You got a letter for Mr. Elon." "Oh, leave it here. We'll give it to him." No, I got to give him personally." "Oh, you can wait for a long time. He only come about 11:30. So my guy waited till he came, and Mr. Elon remembered him. "Hey, Eddie. Oh, you are Eddie Kiddo." "Yes, I've got a letter from Captain LWIN." So I come inside my room. He opened the letter. He saw it. Immediately he asked the secretary and typed out a job offer, letter of intent, that they can offer me a few jobs. So that letter, this bosun brought back by hand. When I got that, I realized that I can get a job in Singapore, but I need to get there. So that's how I got out and got my pension. And then getting to Singapore was not easy, but I will not tell you this now. It's a long story, but it's all in my book. All right. So this is number 6 job, and it is the first job out of Burma, a private job. Okay. Right. Shall we continue with number 7?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I was happy doing his job with him for about 2 years. And then one day, a friend of mine that from the Navy, he was in America. He was working for a Chinese company. He called me and he said, He said, KT, he said, you know, I was working in Thailand for this Chinese company. And while I was there, I met a young Thai executive, shipping executive, who is influential. He wanted to start a national Thai shipping company. They don't have one. So he asked me if I could help, and I promised to help him. So now he's after me. He's asking me to come and help. But I'm now in New York in as their representative. I cannot come immediately. And I also told him that if I come to help you, I needed a technical man as well. Then I thought of uh, asking you to join. So what do you think? So then at that time, I was a bit adventurous. I was getting a bit fed up staying in Singapore. So I said, if you are coming, definitely, then I'll be interested. But I want to make sure who they are and so on. So he made me meet this guy. I met him in Bangkok when I went on for a short trip. And I realized that they didn't have anything, but they were so keen to start a shipping company for their own country. I said I could help, but that'll be good for me and good for them. So I agreed to join him. And then about 6 months later, they came to me and said, well, now we are ready to start the company. So will you join? I said, I will join provided my friend is also ready. So you go and see my friend in New York. And then after he says, okay, just send me one word, success by cable. Then I'll join, I'll give notice to my employer. So this guy went to New York, saw my friend, and a few days later, I got a cable, success. So that understood. So I went and had lunch with my boss, and I felt sorry. I said, I'm very sorry. I had to leave you. You know, I like to go to Bangkok. And my Israeli boss was also said, he's very sorry to let me go, but if you want to go, he said, you're not going to stop me. So that's how I went to Thailand. But then my friend who was supposed to join me did not come. He was having some problem with his marriage, so he could not come. I went there alone, and I started this company more or less alone. So that itself is quite a big story in my book. So anyway, that was my number 8 job. Yes. So I was there with them for 2 or 3 years on a contract. Then I thought I wasn't happy, not with the job. The job was all right, but in Thailand they got directors who don't like to work for the company. Directors work for their own pocket. So I got directors who were interested in their own what you call business. For example, the director who just ordering goods from Japan, he would say he want special freight rate for him. So I said, how can I give you special rate lower than other people? Because then the company would lose. He's interested in making money for himself. Then the ship chandler director, he said, oh, give me the ship channeling job for the company, what you need. So I think I'm competitive. We call for tenders. We look at who can supply at a cheaper rate at good quality. But I cannot give it to you just like that. So that way, I didn't like the directors pushing me for their own interest. So I told the promoter that after my contract, I'm going back to Singapore. I don't like dealing with the board members. So and I actually finished my contract and went back to Singapore and left them. So that was my 8 job. But the number 9 job was the most interesting and most strange, I would say, the most strange job that I ever had. And of course, I was very successful with that. And so we'll come to the 9th job, all right? Okay. You got audio?
Yes, yes, sir. I
Yeah.
can hear you.
Okay. You're still on audio. All right. All right.
Yes, I
Okay.
follow.
Now, I was back in Singapore. I was doing a temporary job for a friend ship owner of mine, just for a while to see what I can do. One day, one Singaporean boy phoned me and said, "Sir," he said, "I'm the agent of Citran in Bangkok, and then I would like to talk to you." I said, "All right, you can talk to me at my office." No, no, he said, "I cannot come to your office." I said, "Why not?" Because I was working at your for your employer before. So I said, "All right, I'll meet you at coffee shop downstairs." So when I met him, he said, "Compliments from my boss, Kun Sutam from Bangkok. He would like you to join him." I said, "Oh, wait a minute." I said, "Citran is a company. I only heard the name. I don't know what it is. And your boss, I never heard of him. So he couldn't have known me. So how can he say I come and join him?" So he said, "No, no." He said, "I got definite orders. I'm gonna try and get you, uh, bring you to him." So I said, "We don't do like that in business." I said, "Got to make sure that both sides know each other." Anyway, I said, when I go to Bangkok for another business, I will tell him that I will meet him there. So please tell him, thank him for the offer. And when I come to Bangkok next trip, I'll let him know. So in about a
Yes.
week or so, I was going to Bangkok. So I sent him a telex that I'm going to Bangkok, arriving on such day, and I said, "I'm going to stay at Narai Hotel." Immediately he said, "Would you be free 1 o'clock? I will send somebody for you to come and see me and have lunch." So that was
Yes.
all right by me. So I said, "Fine." I accepted that. Then I was at the hotel after I checked in. I was waiting. And then a big limousine arrived, driven by a very beautiful girl. And she said, "Compliment from Kunsutam. I'm his secretary. I'm here to collect you and take you to the office." Okay, I said. So I got in the car and went. And his office was not not well organized, I would say. When I went inside, I saw many people just talking and chatting and not really doing any work. And their files were all over the place. So I said, "That's not a good office." I was thinking. But when I got into his office, that was spick and span, very well, fitted out, and there was air conditioning and sofas and all that. So I thanked this guy, Konsutam. I said, "Konsutam, thank you uh, for letting me come and see you." And I said, "But let me ask you, I've the first time I've met you, and I don't know about you, but you said word that you want me to join you. I would like to know what's your reason for picking me out of the blue." So he looked at me and smiled, and he said, "Are you a Buddhist?" I said, "Yes, I'm a Buddhist." He said, "Do you believe in karma?" "Yeah, karma." I said, "Yeah, of course I do." "Well, I'll tell you," he said. "My
Yes.
family owned coastal tankers for the last 20 years. We know all about coastal tanker business. And that is something we're good at." Then a friend of mine who is a shipping agent told me to buy 4 dry cargo ships owned by Maersk Line. They were selling it and blocked 4 ships to somebody who was interested. And he said it's going with a good price, so you should buy. So he went and bought the 4 ships. But after he bought, he did not know how to operate dry cargo ships. Tanker is different thing. Dry cargo ships is any kind of general cargo. No? So he was losing money on this one. So he's worried. He bought his 4 ships, didn't know what to do. Every month he's losing. So And one morning, he was playing mahjong with some friends. And he's complaining to his friend, while he's playing mahjong. He said, I've got these 4 ships. I don't know what to do. They're a burden for me. So one person said, he's a banker, actually, this guy. He said, oh, you should try and get Captain LWIN. Captain LWIN was general manager of Kyaw Navigation, the company that I just quit. No, he's gone to Singapore. He knows what he's doing. So you should get him. So the first time that he was told, no, and then in the afternoon he was playing golf with the Shell company managing director. Again, he's complaining about his problem, how to employ his 4 ships. And this fellow says, oh, you must try and get Captain LWIN. He knows how to operate by cargo ships. He's in Singapore. So second time, and then he came back from his golf, and his wife said, hey, I've got a, can you hear me?
Okay. I thought, let's continue.
Okay. Okay, can you hear me now? Good head. We start. All right, good. Well, he came back from his golf, and then his wife said, oh, there's a message I have. And it is from Captain LWIN in Singapore. And the message said, please contact me at this phone number. Oh, he said, well, that's strange. I'm trying to contact him and he's trying to contact me. But at that time, the reason why I wanted to contact him was nothing to do with joining him. I didn't know. But I was asked by Burma 5 Thailand to try and charter a small coastal tanker for themselves to help. So I found out that his company owned coastal tankers. So I got his number. So, and when I phoned his office and nobody could talk English, then eventually they give me his house number. When I phoned his house, his wife could speak English. So I told his wife, when your husband come back from golf, please call me. So that was for totally different reason. But when I was talking to him after I've been to his office, I said, well, this is something very strange. He said, yes, it's our karma. For your name came up 3 times to me. So I thought maybe we have destiny to be together. So he believed in destiny. He didn't believe in anything else. But he had no other choice. So I said, okay, Kunsutam, that's fine. But I said, I was happy working for Kyaw company. I set it up and we're already owning 3 or 4 ships within 2 years. And we're running the ships well. But I left them because I could not stay longer. He said, why? He said, your Thai companies, I'm sorry to say, have a lot of director infighting. And I work for the company, I cannot work for each director. So he smiled and said, oh, good. He said, my company said, we have directors too. But my company directors don't live in Bangkok. They live outside Bangkok and they love golf. We play golf all year in their places. And at the end of the year, when accounts are ready, they come to Bangkok. Then the dividends are declared. So I tell them, your dividend for this year is X amount. And we had a good fee, we get drunk, and then they go away again. So they never interfere with my business. You only deal with one person, that's me, he said. All right, that's fine. I said, if I only deal with one person, you must tell me what you want me to do. Oh, he says, I want you to do everything to make money.
Yes.
You can call yourself anything except managing director. I'm the managing director, he said, but you can be anything else. And another thing I want to ask you is that you stay with me as long as possible, but you train up my son. My son is a graduate, just a graduate, now he doesn't know anything about shipping. I want you to train him up like you. So, and then he said, don't worry about remuneration. We take care of you, whatever you want. So I had prepared a list of what I want for myself, for my salary, for my children's education, all that. So I showed this to him. He pressed a bell and he called his secretary and said, type this out as a job offer. So he went back and typed out, and right away he gave me the job offer, exactly what I wanted. So that was my last job. And I was very happy. I worked very hard for him. And then while we were doing it, we were approached by Hong Leong Finance Company in Singapore. They are a big finance company. They own banks and property and so on, but they never own any ships. So they wanted to have a shipping company, but it's very difficult to start one. So they want to join up with small company, and so we can be together. So they came to us in Bangkok and they said, we would like to join venture with you and start a shipping line. So we agreed on the terms, and then we call it Hong Leong Seatrend Lines. And we joined up. For 1 year, I worked very, very hard. I was traveling as well, all over to Europe and Japan and so on. But the strain that I was going through, I did not realize. And one day I had this heart problem. And that time when I had heart problem, everything stopped. So whether the cardiologist did an angiogram and found that my arteries were narrow by 70% and said, you have to give up work. No stress for you. Otherwise you die. So then I went to my boss and said, I have to be your advisor. I cannot be active anymore. So we agreed that I'll leave his job, the employment, and then, but within 3 months, I would train up anyone to take my place. And that's how we left. I left finally, and I then retired to Australia. That is itself another story. But this up to nine times is what I went through 9 times. But the jobs all came to me. But I was lucky that I was successful until this time that I had my health problem. Then when I had my health problem, I had no income. I couldn't stay in Bangkok because I got no work permit. I couldn't come back to Burma because of the government, and my pension is very, very low. So I didn't know where to go. Then finally, I ended up in Australia selling flowers. Okay, that's another story. So, okay, so we finished our nine jobs. Yeah. All right?
Yes.
So, what do you say?
Yes.
Thank
you, sir. Thank you, sir. That was very interesting. You were talking about some story about that Australia. Can you share that one? You ended up being a flower seller.
Now for the final part,
Hello?
right? What would you like to know?
Yes. Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Sorry.
Okay, on the
ready.
final part.
Yes, okay. Our final session.
Yes, sir. Please continue.
Yes. What would you like to know for the final section? Just give me a brief